For those of you who don't know, I'm Ty, also on this platform known as the Mindset Shift Maven. And this monthly series that I'm doing is called Let Me Bend Your Ear. And it's all about me just sharing spiritual experiences, pouring into you, hoping to impact each of the 12 areas of your life, something that I've mentioned before. And I'm going to share the 12 areas today because it's part of the homework. You know, I said I'm going to give homework all the time at the end of each video. And then I want to set the tone. I always like to set, I'm a Pisces, okay? And Pisces, what we do, we gonna set the stage for whatever we want to do, okay? We gonna set the atmosphere. And I love it because it's really about living with intention. And so, and we'll get into this in later videos, how intention is directly connected to being able to manifest or create the life that you truly want to live. I know it has become such like a cliche statement, especially in social media. But the intention for this video, if you can see the title, it is, are you the victim or the victor in your life? And so the intention for this video for today is that you review your life stories and the beliefs that you've bought into and find the connection between those, your mindset, and your ability to create or manifest. I call it create, manifest the life you want to live. And I've shared, so that's the intention for this video. The music, you know, I got to set the tone with the music. It's the solfeggio frequencies. I'm going to add that to the link in my bio. The crystals. So I've shared both of these crystals. They both just was calling to me last night. The crystals that we're going to work with today, that's just, I have them. They set intentions with them. The rose quartz, which is, when you think about the stories that you tell yourself, and if in different areas of your life you're the victim or the victor, that requires to observe that requires some self-love and self-intention, embracing, being honest and true with yourself. And so this crystal helps us with those things. The lapis lazuli is what we worked with yesterday. If you can see, it's a beautiful blue, and you can't see it on the video, but it has like gold speckles in it. This crystal is it's a gateway to your highest self. And so for many of us, it's very hard for us to be honest with ourselves without having some pathway to the highest version of ourselves that wants the best for us. And so the intention behind this crystal is set that we connect with our highest self so that we can be honest in observing the truths about ourselves. Got my incense going. Today, I'm drinking my key lime water. I don't know if you've seen or if you're new to following me. Each morning I drink key lime, take some key limes, pour it in some water and drink that. It helps to boost the immune system. It's just overall good for you. And we start our day with drinking that. And then I do have my tea over here, my ginger tea, on my ginger tea kick. Okay, so I want to hop into it. We're just getting started, Chanel. And I'm happy to hear that you went to vote. Love that. But we're just getting started. I just set the tone. You've been here, so you know I set an intention. The intention is that you review your life stories and find the connection between those, your mindset, and your ability to create, manifest the life you want to live. The music I've got going is the solfeggio. The crystals we're working with, real quick, are the rose quartz and the lapis lazuli. I've got my incense burning, and then I'm drinking key lime water. So that's the tone. It feels really good over here where I am in my corner. And so we are just about to hop into the topic of if you are the victim or the victor in your life overall, or if this is in certain areas of your life. And so the question that I ask you is, what stories do you tell yourself or have you bought into? And I want you to just look at where you are in life now. You may be completely happy with your life, or there may be certain sections of it, or areas, as I call them, where you may not be happy with them, which is perfectly fine. That's perfectly human. But if you are unhappy in those areas, I want you to ask yourself, what stories, because typically when we're unhappy in an area of our life, it is because we are playing the victim role in that area. And then in other areas where we are happy in our lives, we are playing the victor role. And so I just want to ask you, what stories have you told yourself that's led to how you feel today? Or what stories have you bought into that maybe you didn't even tell yourself, but that somebody else told you? And typically it starts in our childhood. That those authority figures in our childhood told us stories or just things about ourselves, and we bought into it. It could be some of your mom, your dad, your grandparents, older siblings, older cousins, teachers, coaches, people at church. If you was raised in the church, could have told you about different areas of your life, and you bought into it, and it no longer serves you. It does not serve you today. It's why you may feel stuck in a rut, or why you may feel like in a certain area of your life, the biggest areas that people have the problem, or they feel like the victim, are relationships, their love lives. They feel like a victim in their careers, professional lives. And when it comes to money or wealth or abundance or the ability to manifest, those are the areas where people typically feel like a victim. And it's because they've bought into stories, or they've told themselves stories that keep them there. Let me think of an example. So let's say for your career, the research has shown that like 68% of people hate their jobs. They hate their jobs, but they still go to work. And the story that they've bought into is that you have to go to work in order to be financially stable. You have to stay at this job, or I've been at this job for so many years. If I go into the thing that I really want to go into, I'm gonna have to start over. It's gonna be, forever. I'm not gonna make as much money, blah, 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 blah. And that's just a victim, like reel, just over and over and over and over again. And I just want you to just observe. Today we're just observing the stories. Like, where did you get that story from? And clearly it's not serving you. I'm not going to even ask you if it's serving you, but clearly it's not. And just look at the root of that story, because eventually I do want you to get to the point where you decide to change the story, where you decide to rewrite the story, because you do have that power. Remember, like I told you, you're a divine being who is living a human existence. So you have that power. Let's see. Chanel said, for me, it's not what people have told me, but what my eyes have told me. So I'm working on the walk by faith and not by sight. Yeah. And, I mean, if you think about it, it may not be directly what what someone has told you. It could be indirectly what you are told through what you see. And so a lot of us consume, media and all types, news, TV, radio, social media. And it's not anyone in those mediums. It's not anyone specifically talking to you or, or telling you something, but you are receiving a message by consuming those things. And, and then it gets like threaded, like, in a very subtle way into your life. And before you look at it, you've bought into this thing. But I want you to, another example, love, the love relationship area. Oh, it's so many stories. Oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. It's so many stories that we've bought into, especially in that area, especially women of color, especially Black women. We've bought into these stories of suffering in a relationship or settling in a relationship. And I could just tell you right now, just from my study in my career, I'm an emotional intelligence coach trainer. And that falls under positive psychology. But I could tell you right there that those beliefs of suffering in your relationships or settling for less than what you deserve, that comes from childhood, that comes from the dynamics of relationships that you've observed as a child. It could either be from, your parents, typically from a mother, or, just the dynamics of relationships that you've seen in your community, or also the media. And it's a story that you've bought into, but that you can rewrite. And I'll share from my own life a story that I had bought into and decided to rewrite. And to show you how it could be something very simple. And Chanel, to speak to you, to what you said, this story that I bought into, no one had even specifically said this to me, but I bought into it and realized over the years before I started seeing a therapist that it was directly impacting my intimate relationships, and not just intimate like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, spouse, but like friendships and relationships with family members. I was probably like teenager, early teens, or late teens or early 20s. And I just remember these instances where I overheard people talking about favorite family members. And it was, two family members in particular who a few people had said, that they were their favorites. And it wasn't like they were saying that like they were intentionally saying like, oh, I've picked this person over you, Ty, or, or it wasn't anything like that. But I remember buying into the idea that, okay, no one has mentioned my name as a favorite, so I must not be anyone's favorite. And then that thought then changed to, oh, I'm probably not somebody's favorite because I'm so like, aggressive and, rough around the edges. And, who's going to have that, as their favorite. And then that led to me in intimate relationships, then being like, okay, so I have a best friend, or I have a boyfriend or whatever, but I'm always like 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door of that relationship, because in my mind decided or just bought into and it just kind of took on this whole course of its own, that okay, I believe I'm rough around the edge, so I'm gonna always be able to protect myself. I ain't gonna let nobody play me. That was the thinking. And then it's like, but I'll still, be in this relationship with these people because I like them. I like being around them. But if at any point I see that they're not treating me like a favorite, then I'm out. And that's not sustainable. I've shared with you all my life vision. That's not sustainable, especially for an intimate relationship, like like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And so what I decided, and this was in my late 20s, early 30s. So I've been holding on to that story for over a decade, maybe a decade and a half. Yeah. And I decided, because I decided to rewrite that story. So the first way I decided to rewrite that story was by saying that I'm God's favorite. That became one of my nicknames for myself, that I'm God's favorite. And the crazy thing is that the moment that I started calling myself that, it truly felt like in my life that things were changing in my life, where it truly felt like I was like, oh my God, like God has his hand on me, baby. And I'm God's favorite. like why would I now? Okay, well, I don't even want to be y'all's favorite because I'm God's favorite now. So that was the first step for me, was deciding I need to rewrite the story. For one, by not taking it personal, just because, a family member has not chosen me as their favorite. I'm gonna remove that thought first. And then because whenever you release something, you always want to receive something. That's just the dual world that we live in. And so I decided to just receive, to fill that up then with, okay, I'm going to be God's favorite. And then when I had set my life vision of wanting to be, like I've shared you all, one part of my life vision is to be a loving and supportive wife. Obviously that starts way before you get married or you get engaged or you're dating. That journey started way before then, where I said, okay, I need to get rid of this thought of being half foot, 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door of relationships. And so it was definitely much easier with my friendships. One of my best friends is on here. Hey Rio. It was definitely much easier with friendships, but where I felt like I could be more vulnerable. But when it came to like the intimate relationships, that was harder, because there was another story I had also bought into, like in my 20s, as like a man eater. It was like, Ty, don't be fooling with these Negroes. If at one sign you acting up, you're gone, and to the left, okay? And so I bought into that story. And again, that's not sustainable, not for me, for my life vision. And so I made the choice to go see a therapist, and I went in there with a plan for her. Because that's how I believe you. I believe if you hire somebody in your life, then you're kind of their director. And so if I hire a therapist, I'm going in there with the plan, and I'm assigning you tasks to help me, the same way I do my cleaning lady. When they come up in here, I need you to focus on this, and this, do your regular basic stuff that you're going to do. But I need you to focus on this, and this, because I've hired you to perform something in my life. And so, because I wanted to get out of the story, y'all. And so I went to that therapist and I said, I need to focus on communication, and I need to focus on being vulnerable. Because I knew those two things for the relationship that I wanted to be in, those two things would help me erase. Like, I wanted those stories gone. Erase those stories. And I can tell you, so I was in a relationship when it was an unequally yoked relationship. I was in a relationship when I began therapy, and I saw my therapist for about 3 years. And in maybe halfway through, I ended that relationship, which, thank God. But at the end of that therapy, I got into another relationship, the one that I'm in right now, which has been the healthiest, happiest relationships I've ever been in. And that was because I made the choice to rewrite a story that I bought into, a very subtle story of not being someone's favorite. Just to show you the thread of how it can happen in your lives. And so that's what I want you to do. Like I said, I want to try to keep these from 20 to 30 minutes because I want them to be digestible, and also because I'm giving you homework. But that's what I want you to do in each of the areas of your life. I just want you to observe if you're happy in this area or not. And you don't have to share this with anyone. I'm going to give you the 12 areas, but I'm gonna tell you what I want you to do for each area. It's just maybe for the 12 area, and take out a notebook or whatever you need to do, because I want you to write them down. And then I'll post them in my stories too, just as a reminder. But I just want you to quickly go through each area, and I want you to at the top of it, to write, am I happy in this area of my life? And then through each of the 12 areas, I just want you to write yes or no. And for the yeses, because that means you're the victor in that area of your life, I want you to embrace that. I want you to embrace being the victor and make sure that you continue. He said the music for you. I hope it's you know what? Let me tell you what it is. Because I hope it's aligned with what you're feeling. So right now it's at 396 hertz. And that hertz is aligned with eliminating fear in your life. So I hope it's doing that for you. It's cleansing you. But so I want you to write. So for those areas where you've marked yes, I want you to embrace, your area as the victor in your life, and to make sure that you're still doing actions that align with that yes. It's moving on to the next hertz now. It's at 417, and this wipes out negativity. Yes. For those areas where you wrote no, I want you to, just the first thing that may pop into your head because if you're writing no, you're unhappy in this area of your life. The first thing that pops into your head of what story have you embraced? And so, I'm in a few Facebook groups, spiritual. I'm in like a Black girl spirituality group. And it's a lot of women in there who share their experiences with like manifesting abundance. And typically when people are talking about manifesting abundance, they're talking about in like their financial life. And so I want, if that's one of your areas where it's no, I want you to just observe the story that you're telling yourself, the stories. It could be multiple stories that you're telling yourself as it relates to that area of your life. And then if you want to, right now, because that can be a heavy exercise to do, especially for 12 areas of your life, you can just journal on it. I'm a big fan of journaling. You can journal on those notes and the stories, just observing the stories that you've told yourself. And then when you're ready, I want you to decide how you're going to rewrite the story for that particular area of your life. And so I'm going to give you those 12 areas right now. And that's your homework. So the first area is life vision. We talked about that yesterday, where I shared my life vision with you all. The second area is health, fitness, and beauty. The third area is your spiritual path. Do you feel stuck in it? Do you feel confused? Do you feel like it's not one that you've chosen for yourself? Yes, go buy a journal. Girl, I have so many journals here. I could probably send you one and not even miss it. But you don't even have to buy, it doesn't even have to be a fancy journal. It could be I use these. Spiritual path. The fourth area is intellectual knowledge. So for that area, the knowledge that you're gaining Are you happy with it? Is it useful to your goals, to what you want to accomplish in life? Because I feel like in this day and age, we're stuck in this like rut of just knowing random ass information that serves nobody. Like, why do I need to know what the Kardashians are doing or where they went to, you know, for a vacation? That doesn't serve me. And if that is mostly what your life is, then you might find yourself unhappy and feeling like you don't know the next steps to take to like get, like you may feel plateaued somewhere. And it's because you may feel like you don't have the right knowledge that you need. So then that would be a no. The next area is love relationship. If you are in a relationship and you want to be single, then that would be a no. You're unhappy. Or if you're single and you love to be just dating and getting to know people, then, you know, so observe that. Observe that. The next area is social and community. The next area is wealth building. Are you happy with your finances? Do you believe that you can manifest abundance in your life in that area? After that is career and mission. Then joy. Are you doing the things that bring you joy? Are you at least doing something each day that brings you joy? After that, life roles. Are you happy with the life roles? Are you happy with the roles that you play in your life? Are you happy with the relationship? So, you know, for me, I am a daughter, a sister, a fiance, a cousin, a best friend. How are those? I want you to observe, how are those relationships? Is it a lot of drama, you know, or is it a lot of love in those? I just want you to, you know, observe it. Then after life roles is emotional intelligence. Are you able to express yourself in a productive way? Do you embrace all of the emotions that you feel? After that is creative life. And, oh yeah, and then that's the end. That's all 12 areas. And so I want you to do your homework. I want you to share this video with someone that you feel may need to observe the stories that they've told themselves or that they've bought into. And then I'll see you tomorrow back here at 7:30. And also make sure you go vote if you haven't already. Thank you for joining. Oh yeah, I am going to share those 12 in my stories. I'm gonna share this video too for those who wanted to rewatch it. All right. Y'all have a great day. And make sure you take great care of yourself because this is going to be a crazy time.